Guys, I can't hear you. Please give me a reply. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Your voice is too low, sir.
Cool. Charger.
Hello, sir.
Because next class. Okay, we have seen an end-to-end application with the help of routing mechanism. I have shared with you also, right? Now the major concept that what it is pending from our end is like how do we connect with the backend server and how to perform the CRUD operation. That is the major thing that which is pending from my end. As I already told you, like we supposed to have a backend application, and in the backend application only we are going to connect with the DB because the front end application is not having any interaction to the database. That means any front end you can take that is yeah, we'll see that, don't worry. So any front end application you can take which will never communicating with the relational database, either it is an Angular or it might be a React. So for that reason, like how we are going to work in that particular scenario is going to be, you see the end-to-end application architecture is like this. In real time, we have the database. Let's say this is a database. The database will contain what? The tables and all. Okay, database, maybe you can assume, and it contains what? Tables. Any database you can take, a relational database is consist of a table. And to interact with this particular database, we need to have a backend support, and which is very important for us. So this is going to be my backend application, and the backend application that you can build with any of the technology, irrespective of that. Most of the scenario, if you are a Java developer, we use the web services in order to build the backend application, or else irrespective of that, you can build with the help of Java, or else if you are a .NET developer, you can get the APIs with the help of .NET, or else like if you are a Python developer, where you can build the API with the help of Python. So Java, .NET or Python application will interact with the database and fetch the data. Okay, will interact with the DB, and at the same time it will fetch the data, and further they have their own technologies. I hope no one is from the Python, so that I can tell you, if you are a Java developer, I hope you people might know about the JDBC, right? What is the JDBC? Java database connectivity. By using that, we can connect with the databases which are available on the backend, and we fetch the data that what we require. If you are a .NET developer, I hope ADO.NET you know, or else Entity Framework also can be used in order to connect with the DB and fetch the data. So this is how the data, I mean the backend application, and this is how the database is going to be. Both are going to be in sync and then prepare the data, and the data is completely available with the backend application. Now, directly by using the backend, we can use the data, but the problem here is for each and every request, what happen, it is processed at server side. That means these two are going to be hosted in a different places. That means this total is going to be available in a separate server, and at the same time, this total is going to be available in a separate server. And generally, what we call it as, this is going to be a web server. Okay, this is a web server, that what I can call, and web server will contain the application. Either it is an API or a web application, whatever it might be, which will contain this. And this is what we call it as DB server. Database server will contain the database, and that database will contain the database table. This is how the real-time structure. Now, once if you have the data, that data, we are going to get it to the Angular application with the help of a component, that is what we call it as service. That means we will be having the services, and this service, what it will do is, it will be connecting with the backend application. Okay, it will connect with the backend application, and then it will fetch the data by creating different methods that what we are having. Now, in this process, I used a class, that is what we call it as a HTTP client class that I have used. I used a class, what class here it is going to be? HTTP client is the class. By using this HTTP client class, we are connecting to the backend application methods and then fetch the data that what we are having. Now, once if the data is available inside the service, I hope you know that how we are going to access that data with the help of a component. That is what you can take a component here, and I'm just having a component, and this component will be used. Okay, this component will be used it over here, and then connect with the service with the help of the dependency injection mechanism, and then fetch the data that what a service is giving. Now, this total data are going to be displayed in the HTML. That is what we call it as a template. That means here we have what templates are defined, and by using that particular template, by using the HTML and the data binding mechanism, whatever the data a component is giving it to you, you can just get that and then bind with the help of HTML, and finally the user is able to see that output in a browser. So this is how an Angular application in real time. Okay, this is how that Angular application is going to be available in our real-time architecture. Any questions on this architecture? Tell me. Any questions on this architecture? Clear now? Just note it down. This one, if you have the notes, you can. Otherwise, just take a screenshot. That is also fine. Done. So here, like, you know, the backend application and the backend DB that you supposed to prepare anything, but according to me, I have already created a backend application. But one thing is, so actually I don't have the Visual Studio installed because I formatted my mission. Just give me 2 minutes. I'll be ready with the installation process. Give me 2 minutes. But it takes time. Let's see. Oh, internet is worst. Okay, let's do one thing. It is taking some time, so that we'll start with another concept, that is lazy loading anyhow is pending, as you guys asked. We'll start with that concept. Once if it is ready, then I will show you like how my backend application is going to be and how the database and all. That part we will understand. And before that, like what I can do is, now the very first thing, like what is mean by lazy loading? Let's open a new paint. Right. So generally, I mean, the what is the main purpose of the lazy loading? First, we will understand. Suppose, let's say, there are two concepts here. One is lazy loading. Another one is going to be eager loading. With the help of, like, you know, the component development kit, that is the CDK, we have already seen like how we can make use of a particular component that is going to be lazily loaded, right? We have seen like how we can do that lazily. That is fine. But what exactly the lazy loading and what is the importance of the lazy loading in the practical environment is, suppose let's say lazy loading means it's something like on-demand load. On-demand loading, that is the lazy loading. And at the same time, when I say about the eager loading, everything will be loaded on first request, I can say. Lazy loading means it's on-demand loading, and eager loading it will be loaded on the first request. Suppose if you can open any of the website, let's say I'll be opening some website, let's say Flipkart or whatever, or else let's say nareshit.in is the website that what I am trying to open. So that time when I'm sending a request to the nareshit.in, by default we will be seeing a home page. And apart from that home page, we have like many pages that are available. And in that, user can see only the few pages, not everything. Suppose let's say I have 10 pages that are available. That means 10 routes that I have configured, and each route is associated with some component, definitely. That is how we define. We need to give a path, and then path is associated with some component. That is how the routes are going to be configured. Now, if you can take like any website, either nareshit.in or any website, hardly we can see like, 3 to 4 pages. That means, let's say, this is the one page that what I have seen, and this is the another page that what we have seen, and this is the third page that what I have seen. But there are few pages we never think about it even. That means, let's say, careers, we never go through that. Internship, we never go through that. Let's say blog, you can say it is also not required. But when it comes to Angular, what happen, whenever the application is going to be loaded, and if you can configure that application with the help of the routing, then by default, that is a single page application. Understand? That is a single page application. It won't make any further request to the server until unless if it is really required. In that scenario, let's say I have like 10 pages, and if I'm loading all the 10 pages, that means 10 routes if I'm loading, then definitely it might take more time, because every component you can take, okay, every component you can take, just loading how it will happen, every Angular application will comes with the module, and the module will contain what? Components. That means set of components. C1 is one component, C2 is one component, and C3 is one component. And each component you can take, definitely it contains what? Directives. Yes or no? Inside the component, am I using the directives or not? Yes or no? And if it required, I can go with the pipes or not. And at the same time, it comes with some HTML or not. Yes or no? So like that, we have many things are associated. Based upon that, let's say one component is taken 5 seconds, another component, it might take, let's say, 10 seconds of the time, and the third component is going to be taken, let's say, 15 seconds of the time. Just assume that I have 3 components, C1, C2, C3, and each component is taken this much time. Whenever, I mean, like this is one module. Maybe I have another module. This is like one module, okay, fine. And like that, I maybe have like another module, and this module is also going to be taken, let's say, 30 seconds of the time to load. Now, in eager loading, what happened, how much time here it is? It is 15, 25 plus 5, 30 and plus 30 seconds. If it is eager loading, what happened, it will take 60 seconds to load the whole application. But if it is going to be lazy loading, when it is going to be configured, the first thing is going to be, you need to categorize if it really required to load on the first request or not. Understand? And based upon that, what I can do, I'll load few modules at the time of page initialization, or else that application initialization. I just wanted to go with the remaining module, whatever I'm having on demand. That means first I'll be loading like, module 1, and the second module I don't want to load module 1, so that the page is constructed and it will be ready. Whenever user hit that particular route, then immediately what I can do, I'll be loading another set of module. That means instead of loading everything at once, I'm going to load the module based on the demand or based on the request, and that process what we call it as a lazy loading generally. But the same thing we have seen with the help of component, with the help of material UI, and the same we can configure it over here also. For that, what I can do is let me create a new project, ng generator, and the name of it is going to be application lazy loading. Lazy loading, that what I can say, and you can see it is asked me to go for do you want to include the routing or not? Yes, I can include, and then CSS, that what I can use. I am not having much more, just I have created a project over here, something like this. And then what I want to do, I'll go to my project where I have the lazy loading, and then I have an SRC folder. Under that I have an app folder. By default routing module is available, and app.module.ts is available. Now what you want to do is you need to create, let me right click, and then I'll be open that integrated terminal. And right now everything is pointing to the PowerShell, so that I can go with my command prompt and clear the screen. Let's say I'm going to create here 3 components. That is one is going to be, let's say, products I just wanted to have, and orders that what I wanted to have, offers that what I wanted to have. 70% of the people, they might not see this particular page, because I'm able to see the product, and based on the product I'm able to get the offers which are included for every product. We never go to that offers page, so that why should I load this particular offer separately? Or else, sorry, why should I load this particular offers and its related component at the time of page load? Initially I don't want to load, until unless when user click on this, I'm going to load it lazily. Okay, I'm going to load it lazily. For that reason, what I can do, I'll be creating 3 components. One is product, another one is going to be order, and the third one is going to be offers component. I'm going to use these 3, and I just want to do that one. So for that reason, I'll go to here. Let's create the component, and the component is going to be ngg c for the component, and the first component is going to be products component hyphen skip hyphen test, that what I can give. What happened? Okay. ngg c for the component, and the name of the component is going to be, let's have the products component, and then click on OK. Right. And clear the screen, and then ngg c for the component, and I just wanted to create a component that is going to be offers component hyphen skip hyphen test, that what I can give. And now you can see, right? So these are the 2 things that what I am having it over there. I've created the 2 component. One is going to be the orders component, and second one is going to be the products component that I have created. Now what I want to do, I'm going to provide the routing mechanism. So for that, let's go to here and go to the routes here, because we have the routing module is available, app-routing.module.ts, and here what I can do, I'll be specifying the path. Suppose if my path is going to be products, then I'm going to load a component that is going to be products component. And at the same time, if my path is going to be, let's say, orders if I'm giving, then I'm going to load a component that is going to be orders component, that what I'm loading. And then I'll be creating the, let's take app component.html, and here I'll be removing everything, and here I'm going to configure the routing, so that what I can do, I'll take a div, okay, and inside that I'm not using even the bootstrap, because I hope you people know we have seen like these many example. We are almost ready to close the session, so that is where I don't want to create like one more time. Now you can see I'll be creating a link, that is router link is equal to, what is the link? First one is going to be the products that we are having, so that I'll be giving the product and the name is also going to be, let's have the product. And at the same time, I'll be taking another router link also. I'll be taking a, and then router link is equal to, I'll be taking that order, and then I'm coming here. Let me give that orders. Okay, orders that what I am giving. So there are like two links that what I have created, and I just wanted to write some CSS for this one. Let's say I have an anchor tag, because the look and feel is not going to be good at all. If you want, I can run even cd space projects space lazy loading ng yes -o. Now you can see this is how it is going to be, but I just wanted to write like, some CSS like for the better visibility and all. So let me go to my CSS, and for an anchor tag, I'll be writing, let's say margin right, right around, let's say 30 pixel, that what I can give, anything you can give, 30 is too much. Maybe I can give 10. 10 is fine. Okay. Okay. Now you see we have the product, and then we follow with orders that are available. If you can see, whenever if I run my application, right click and go to the inspect, and then you can have the network tab, and then if you can execute, so everything is going to be bundled and loaded at once. Okay. If you can just click on the product, did you find any changes here? Tell me. If you can click on, let's say, order, did you find any changes here? No, because like everything is loaded already. That is the reason, even if you are interacting with that, we never find like, any kind of network calls to that particular server, because it was already loaded. This is what we call it as eager loading. Now, once if it is eagerly loaded, then that is fine. But if it is really required, that is fine. But otherwise, it is not at all required for us. So now what I can do, okay, let me do one thing. In app component HTML, that what I am having, I'll be taking another div, and in that div, let us have the router outlet, so that the components are going to be loaded. You can see orders works here and the products works here. Okay. So we don't find like, much differences here. Now what I want to do, I just wanted to create another module. The module is going to be, maybe I can take another anchor tag. This is going to be offers. I just think that offers page is also required for me. but this offer space needs to be loaded on demand. I don't want to load it like, initially, let me load that whenever if user has performed an action, then only I wanted to load it. So how I can do that one? To do that, first of all, we will be creating a separate module, because this is, we wanted to have it separately, right? We wanted to have it separately and we wanted to load it separately. So for that reason, don't create the additional one and that extra one that you wanted to lazy loaded in the app module itself. You better to create a separate module for that one. You better to have a separate module. So how I can do that one? To do that one, let's go to my application. Okay, let's go to my application. Otherwise, I'll be going to my application here. Right click, open with that integrated terminal. Let me use the command prompt. And then I just wanted to create a separate module. So ng, g, and then m for the module. If you can create a component, then we use the C. If you can create a pipe, then we'll use the P. If you can create a directive, then we use the directive. In same way, if you wanted to create a module, then what you can do, we can go with the ng, G for generate, and M for module, that what we are having. And this one, I just wanted to give the module name as going to be offers module, that what I am creating. And inside that particular offers module, I wanted to have the routing is also should be configured separately. We just need to have what routing is also required, so that what I can do, I'll be using the hyphen routing. I guess the command is correct only. Yes, command is correct only. Now you can see hyphen routing. When user click on it, now let's see. Right, perfect. Now you can see we have like, that offers is available and a separate routing is created and separate module is available. Okay, separate routing is created and separate module is created. Now what I want to do in this particular offers place, I'll be creating what components is required for me, that you can create. Now I'll right click and then open with that integrated terminal. Let's create ng, g, c for the component, and then offers component. I'll be using hyphen skip and a hyphen test, that what I can give. That's it. So it was created here. You see there, it was created here, and there we are having what offers module. If you can observe, we have that offers component is available, and then we have a separate module that is available. And in this particular route, what I can do is I'm going to specify the path, and the path is going to be, you can give offers, and then the component is going to be, let's give offers component, that what I can give. Okay, offers component I have given. Now everything is separate. If you can observe that, I created a module that is separately, and I have created a routing that is separately. And in that module only, if you can see, I created a component, and that component is also completely separately I have created. Now, this entire module, I wanted to load lazily. I don't want to load like, the first request itself. Rather, I can load it lazily. How I can do that one? To do that one, what I'll be doing, I am using router link is equal to, let's have that offers. Okay, let's have that offer. And here in the app routing module, now here I am going to use the path as going to be offers. At that time, I'm going to load that module separately. Now for that, you can find the code in the, just give me a minute. I'll check lazy loading modules, lazy loading module, Angular. Right. Now you can see path is equal to something, and you can define that with the help of load children. Now what I can do, I'll be giving it over here. Okay, I'll be giving it over here. Now where it is available, we just have to import that particular one. Where it is available, you can see it is available under that offers component, and there we are having offers module or not. And at the same time, then M goes to M dot, will be getting offers module. That's it. It's done. Now you can see what happened. I'll save my application. Now you can just come back to that execution. Right now you can see we have product is there, orders is available, offers is also available. But if you can observe that, let me execute my application for the first time. Now you see, you can observe here, localhost styles, runtime, polyfills, vendor.js, main.js, and something that we are having. When I click on product, now tell me, do we have any, did you observe any changes in the network calls?
No.
I'll show you with magnifier. Okay, now you can see when I click on the product, I don't see like any kind of changes over here. When I click on, let's say, orders, if I'm giving, now you can see, did you find any changes here? Obviously no, but you see that time when user click on offers here, now you can observe that it is project underscore, it is lazily loaded or not? Yes or no? This is the concept of lazy loading generally. That means whenever if user has requested, then only we wanted to load something. Okay, until unless it is not required, I don't need it. Until unless it is not required, I don't need it. That is what we call it as lazy loading. Now that is where you can see initially we don't find like anything. When you go to the products, you can see when you go to that orders, nothing will be changed because everything is loaded. But when it comes to offers, now you can see it is separately loaded. So you can like that, how many we can have, that's up to you. It's all depend on the requirement, which component you wanted to load it lazily, create a separate module, create a separate route for that, and then we will be calling with the help of the routing mechanism, something like this. We will be using what? Load children, and then import that particular module, and then what module it is going to be, you can specify it over here. Now load children is the one, an object specifying lazily loaded child routes. That much simple. You can do either in this way, or you can go the one that you people have already learned, scrolling. CDK is there, right? That is also fine. Anything. Just like one line of statement, which makes more difference. This one line of statement is like, makes more difference. So that is where just follow that. If see, I told you like 80% of the project we never go with what material. I used mostly this one in my project. Out of around 10 project I implemented, most of the time I prefer to go with this one only in stuff. If there is an Angular material, we don't have any issues. Directly we can go with that. But Angular material is not there in your project, then that is where this is like most preferred one. Simply you can configure with the help of load children, nothing apart from that. Okay, so this is a small concept, that is lazy loading. Yep. Meanwhile, it is also ready. We use that import statements now. If you can go to the module, there we have an import statement. You can import it, that even like HTTP client module, or else like a forms module, we used it, right, Saroj? Yes or no? I used forms module, HTTP client, reactive forms module. All those modules are another modules only. We will be getting into this current module with the help of import statement. Declaration is for like, declaring the components that are related to this module. And then we have an import section like this. And we have an export is also available. And the purpose of the export is going to be exporting to another module. It should comes with an export definitely. Right. Yep. I'll do like, the basic. Just a minute. Right. So I have already created a project, a simple project that I have created with the help of .NET, where I can show you. Right. Hmm. Is it visible to all? Right. So basically, as I told you, like we supposed to take a backend application according to this one. Let me close this and then come here. Now, according to this particular scenario, we need to have a database support is required. Okay, database is also not there. So install the DB. Because DB is also required for me. Half an hour we have time. We'll take a small concept from the existing. Let's go with the unit testing better. I'll go with so that we have only one thing that is pending. That is this integration. RxJS also we have seen, but this integration. But these two, JWT authentication and HTTP interceptor, both would be covered. I'll explain you through the project. Because JWT generation is also not the client side process. That is also server side. That means we need to have a backend application definitely here, like this way. And that backend application, it generate the JWT, and that JWT will be shared to the services. That is how. So that backend support, without having the backend support, we can't do anything. That is one of the very important thing that what we should have. Okay. So let's start with the another concept. Meanwhile, it get installed. Okay, maybe tomorrow also we can see. By tomorrow I'll try to finish. Otherwise, day after tomorrow, maximum. Not. So the next concept is going to be unit testing. So right. So I'll just write something about lazy loading. It is the process of loading the modules based on the demand. And to work with this one, so in order to implement lazy loading, we must have to create a separate module and following with components and following with the components. Following with the component, and then while implementing the routing also, we use what? Load children. Load children. And the syntax is going to be, these are like, straight away concept and small concept. The syntax is going to be this one. I'll copy and paste it here. That's it. So this is all about the lazy loading. And then the next one is going to be, here we will understand about unit testing. Now, what is unit testing and how do we work with that particular? So generally, what is the importance of the testing in the real-time projects? What is the need of testing in the real-time projects?
To make it error free.
I mean, what are the different test environments we have? What are the different ways of doing the testing and application? Manual and then automation, right? Okay, very good. Performance, okay. And then integration testing. That means because like you people have written something and you need to verify that like whether it is going to be in a perfect or not. So that is what like, all about a different testing mechanism. Okay, so that means that is also a different testing mechanism that what we are doing. Now tell me what is the important, as we have like these many test approaches are available. Then my question is going to be, why should I go with the unit testing? That is the first question. Why should I go with the unit testing? So nowadays unit testing is not that much important, but why the unit testing was introduced in the picture is okay, restart is required. Okay, I'll restart later. Generally what happen, whenever if you can create any kind of application as a developer, whole and soul of that particular story. In practical environment, how we are getting the requirements are going to be, first we have the planning, okay, planning, and then like, based on that, like we are getting the requirement and then planning and everything is done. And then mostly right now they follow a principle that is a DICE principle. DICE in the sense, first one is going to be demand. I stands for initiative, and then E stands for epic, and then S stands for story. And later this story is created as a task, but it is optional. It is optional. If the story is like, the more complexity, then only we'll be creating the task. Otherwise, we'll never create the task. Now, what is demand stands for? At the time of planning is there, right? That means suppose let's say I have a client and a client is asking me to do a kind of requirement. So that requirement is what we call it as a demand. That requirement, what exactly we call it as a demand. After taking the requirement, as a manager, I need to check with my team capabilities. Suppose let's say the client is asking me some code or else like some functionality by having, let's say, Angular. But in my, I mean, by they are asking me like, some functionality, but I can't achieve that functionality with that existing technology. Then if I take that, okay, give me, I can develop me, then how I can do that one? Because I need to check my team capabilities as well. Based on that only, I can stand on that particular demand. So that is what we call it as initiative. Demand is given to the manager. Okay, this is what we require. Then manager will think about the capabilities of the team and the timelines also. Suppose if the team is completely occupied for around like 2 to 3 sprint, like, the team is completely occupied, then how, like, the demand is going to be fulfilled immediately? That is also not possible. So by taking all these things into the consideration, then the next step is going to be the initiation. Then manager said, okay, fine, this requirement my team is able to complete within so and so dot. If you are okay, then we'll move forward. Once if it is moving forward, then that will be calling it as initiative. Now that initiative may contain different requirements. Different requirement in the sense, fetch that employee data or send that employee data, display that employee data. Like that, if I'm having different requirement, all together cannot build by a single developer. Yes or no? So for that reason, what we are going to do, we will be creating an epic. An epic is something like which is a collection of stories together. Okay, and that epic is having, let's say, 6 to 7 stories are available, and those 7 story, each and every story is picked by the developer and they can start the development. So this is how, like, the principle that what we are following in the practical right now as per agile methodology, DICE principle, DIES, demand, and then it became an initiative, and then it become an epic, and then it become the story, and that story will become as a task. That is how it is. So that every developer will pick a story and they start doing it. So developer is having good knowledge around what they have developed, definitely. Otherwise they can't develop. So they should know whatever like work they are doing. They should know each and everything. That is very important task. If that is a case, developer has started a story and worked on the story, and they do, like, some kind of testing manually. If they can do, then few issues they cannot be identified, right? So for that reason, what happened, whenever that application is moving into the testing, then testers will identify that and raised it as a bug. Okay, at the time of your identification as a developer identification, that is error. We don't have like more, I mean, we don't need to think much about that error, as we have like lot of mechanisms where you can reproduce it and then you can fix and then you can move it to the testing. But once if the testers are raised an error, then that is what we call it as a bug, and it will be created as a separate initiation. Right now agile methodology is fine, because, like, 1 week, 2 week sprint, that what we are following. Sprint is nothing but the time period. Okay, the time period, let's say I'll take 10 stories. 10 stories are going to be completed in this sprint. Sprint is a 2 weeks of the time, and first week is completely into the development, second week is completely into the testing. That is how it is. But earlier what happened, we have a waterfall model. In waterfall model, each and everything is going to be step-by-step process. That means you're supposed to build the whole application, and once if it is ready, then moving it to the testing. Testers will test that application, they raise the bug, and then they are giving a test again. Again, like, you fixed it, again they're supposed to do the whole testing, and if they found anything, again it is bounced back, and again you complete it, and again you have to share it. So this is the problem that what we are having, because of your simple fake, they need to test the whole application or not. Yes or no? Because we don't know that which one is getting impacted. I already told you a few days back, like what happened. one of the guy like who is having 2 years of experience, because at that time I was at hospital for my kids delivery. I asked him like, just to commit some changes in the release branch. What he has done, he has not copied only the changes, but also like he copied everything, the complete function, he copied and pasted in the release branch. And testers, they have tested it, because like with those changes only testers they have tested, and at that time it is working perfectly fine. But as he is not copied, because let's say line number 10 he modified, line number 30 he modified, line number 500 he modified, just he need to copy those three. But as he copied each and everything and it was not tested, what happened, all the calls are going into the one set of people, one support group people. They are getting 1,000 calls in a day. Generally they are getting 10 to 15 calls per day. But as because of that simple change, simple copy paste change, what happened, these guys, this support group guys, 300 or 400 member, they're getting on the day 1,000 calls, 1,000 calls per person. Simple change. So that means you should thoroughly check like, whatever you have developed. Now for that reason only the unit testing came into the picture. Now what is unit testing? Suppose you developed a story, what are the pros and what are the cons for that story. Then instead of like, doing it manually, they created a separate framework for us. In every technology, in Java we have, okay, in .NET we have, in Angular we have, in React we have, any programming or any technology you can take. Nowadays we have the unit testing frameworks are available separately. That means as a developer, okay, as a developer, I can, okay, or else let's say we can test our functionality, as a developer. We can test our functionality, okay, automatically, or else like based on the, or else functionality by depending on frameworks. That means as a developer, we supposed to test our functionality by depending on the framework. Then that is what we call it as a unit testing, that what we are having. Understand? That is what we call it as unit testing. That means unit testing is something like, I can say, testing is a process of, okay, testing is a process of verifying, okay, as it is and then to be. That's it. As is to be. That means whatever the functionality you supposed to implement, is it is going to be as it is or not, and it is working like that or not. That is how it is going to be. Suppose let's say if it is going to be as it is, okay, I'm sorry, is equal to be, then the test is going to be pass. Okay, test is pass. Suppose let's say if as it is and that to be both are like, the not matched, then test is going to be fail, I can say. So how you can verify this one? To verify this, we use a framework that is Jasmine Karma. Okay, Jasmine Karma is the framework is available. By using that, we can test our functionality. That's it. So how we can do that when we have couple of steps? Step number 1 is going to be, so create a component and add the required methods. Create the component and add the required method. And then step number 2 is going to be, create a test case file And here, if we are not using skip test, then it creates by default. That means at the time of creating our component, mostly we go with this one, skip test. If you don't use that, then automatically it will come. Now what I want to do, let me close all. I'll create a separate one for this one. Let's say, NGG, sorry, application that what I am creating, this is a unit test demo. Okay, now you can see, I'll go to my project and there I'm having unit test demo is available. And right now, if you can see that SRC, we have an app folder, and inside that app folder, let me go to the terminal and then change it to the command prompt, ngg, C for the component. I'll be writing something like Amazon cart, that what I can give. I'm not using skip test. When I click on OK, now you see what will happen. You can see a component is created, and inside the component, if you can observe that, we have a separate file which is created, that is going to be spec.ts, where spec stands for specification. A specification file which is having what? All the unit test cases that are going to be defined. Now follow the steps that what I have told you. So what is the step number 1? Create a component and add the required method. And after that, create a test case file. If you can remove, like if you are not using skip test, then automatically it creates. Okay, it is available right now for me. And the third step is going to be, step number 3 is going to be, we have, okay, we have to write the test cases, or else let's say test methods in spec.ts file. Okay, spec.ts file. And Jasmine framework provides methods to match. Jasmine framework provides some methods to match various, okay, testing phases. So what are the methods are going to be? Let's say there are 3 test phases are available, AAA. First one is going to be arrange, next act, I guess, act, and third one asset. So arrange is something like, first we have to configure. Okay. Second one is going to be act. Act is something like, I can say, define test functionality. And the third one is going to be asset. Asset is going to be report the result, that what I can say. Now the first one, arrange, can be done with the help of a method that is going to be describe is the method. That means Jasmine framework provides some methods. By using those methods we can. Second one is going to be what? Act. Act is going to be implemented with the help of a method that is it. And third one is going to be report, and this can be given with the help of expect only. Okay, expect is available. Like that, we have 3 methods are provided. By using that, we can do that. Now what I can do, I have an Amazon component Let me open that particular component TS that what I am having. And here I'll be writing some methods. Any methods you can define, that's depend on your requirement. So that what I can do, let's say public title that what I can give, and I am writing some string type where I can say something like return Amazon cart that what I can give. Okay, that means when I'm executing this particular method, am I getting the title Amazon cart or not? I need to verify. That is the first one. So for that I write a method. And second one is going to be, let's say public calculate total is the method where it is expecting to pass the quantities of type number, and at the same time price is also going to be of type number that what I can give, and I am just writing return quantity, I'm sorry, return quantity into, I'll be having the price, I can say. That's it. So two methods I have written. Like that you can write any number of method, and as a developer I know like the importance of that method and functionality of the method. Now what I want to do, I wanted to write the test cases. So how I can do that one? Now you can start the test case. So how I can write, that means write the test case, that's up to you. So the first one, write the test cases. Test case. So the first one is going to be, as I told you, first it should start with what? See here, configuration. How to configure? By using what? Describe. So that I'll go to my spec.ts file. Let's use the method that is describe has to be given, and I'm going to write something like cart title test that what I can give. Okay, cart title test, and then I'll be writing the functionality here. And this is what the configuration. Configuration is done. Now the next step is going to be what? Act. Act is something like what? Tell me what is act here? Define. Okay, you can see that. Define the test functionality, what you wanted to have. So that what I can do, I'll be writing that with the help of it. Okay, and here you can give some expectation. That means what you guys are going to be expecting. I just wanted to write my expectation over here. Expecting, just you can write Amazon cart is the title. Just you can write like that. And once if it is done, now the third one is going to be what we wanted to have. Expect. You can see that the third one is going to be expect asset. Arrange, act, asset. Now what we wanted to have, I'm expecting the component. That means we have the component object is available. If you can see, we have a, you can see that let component is the variable name, and what type it is going to be Amazon cart component. Now what I can do, component dot title, we are having a method, right? Yes or no? I'm calling that particular one dot to be, okay, dot to be whatever the name we have here. If I'm having the same name, then my test is passed. Otherwise the test is failed or not. Yes or no? That's it. Like that it is going. Okay, first we use what? Describe, and then it, and the expectation is going to be the title, whatever we are getting, that must be an Amazon cart, something like that. If I am getting a different name, then the test is going to be failed. In the same way, second one, tell me now, first what we are having? Describe. Okay, this is the total test, I can say, comma. After that, what we are having? I'll be having it. Okay, very good. And I'm going to write, maybe I can say the total must be, let's say 40,000. I'm writing some test. Okay. Then what I can do, I'll be writing here, expect. Now we have the component object dot calculate total is available. Now I'll be using 2 comma 20,000 I can give. If I'm passing some dummy value, then it should be how much it is? 40,000. If I'm getting like that, then the test is passed. Otherwise, test is failed, right? So like that, I have written the test cases. Now, once if it is done, then the fourth step is going to be, what is the fourth step? Step number 4. What is step number 4? Execute. Execute by using ng test icons. That's it. That means you're supposed to execute that with the help of ng test. That what I can give. Let me go to my application. I'll close it. Let's go to that application where it is going to be. Unit test demo. Open with integrated terminal. Let's go to the command prompt. Clear the screen. Ng test you can give. Then automatically it runs the test cases. See there. Generating the browser build. Allow access. It might take some time. Please be wait. It gives you the clear report also. You can see app component should have the title as app component, and then are we running the same project? Let's give me a minute. I'll open from the command prompt. I guess it's better. Go to the D drive, Angular sessions, 7:30 a.m. Angular workspace. There we have the project, unit testing demo. Let me open it. Ng test. Ng test is the command. Why it is not taking that? Okay, just try from your end. This might definitely work. I'll just check like, why it is not working. By tomorrow we'll see. And then tomorrow it's more about like, connecting with the backend applications and all. Okay, and also component lifecycle hook, which is pending. I'll cover that concept also by tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow and after tomorrow, 2 days are required for us to complete everything. Leave for that. But I'll share you like, the total one that what we have discussed. Just run from your end. Definitely it will work. As like the system is formatted, it is behaving like, very, oddly. So that is the problem. I'll just set up all that environment and all to make it work in a proper way. That is only the problem. But anyhow, that's my headache. I'll do that very soon. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, you can. I'm sharing you the notes, right? Roshan, we are almost by tomorrow we'll complete. Now you're asking about Google Classroom link. Tomorrow, day after tomorrow, we are ready to close, right? What you are doing these many days then? Okay, anyhow, I'll upload and update you. Thank you.